Ihekwazu said Nigeria cannot afford to continue
to schools, universities, schools everywhere. It's just not possible. They're confronted with a situation that we will start having access to vaccine over the next few months. So we've got to find a way to continue moving forward with certain aspects of daily life in a controlled way, mitigating risks as much as possible.
All right. So you heard the good doctor. We can't keep closing. If you'd like to know how difficult life can be when things are closed, ask traders in Port Harcourt. Markets were shut for months and they were crying daily. Please open the markets. So to leave schools closed, that's not an option. So what needs to happen? Compliance. We need these systems running, but we need the human beings that operate in those systems to comply to safety protocols so that we can get by. And what's the protocol? The federal government has stated overcrowding, assemblies, visiting days. We can't have that. Now, I went to a boarding school. I know the importance of a visiting day. Just having someone run to you and say, Sam, your mom is at the gate waiting for you. That joy cannot be explained. It can only be experienced. Now, for the purpose of COVID, well, it's okay to take that joy away. We're all trying to stay safe. But when I look at my school, I ask, does that school have the capacity to adhere to these directives? I remember I defined capacity earlier, what you can give and what you can take. Anything beyond that is beyond your capacity. So while our federal government is putting this in place, which is truly beautiful, overcrowding, assemblies, visiting day, things that would ensure that 2 or 3 are gathered, like the Holy Book always says, we need to eliminate. Can they take it? Do we have structures and systems in place? So my simple question for you is, try to remember the school that your child goes to in case you've forgotten. Do they have the capacity to adhere to this directive? Think of the last time you took your child to school. Think of the last time you visited school if you're a student in a tertiary setting. Does your institution have the capacity to ban overcrowding, assemblies, and visiting days? I would really like to know. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. And of course, you know that schools in River State already resumed a week earlier. Other schools around the nation are looking to the 18th. But in the business of staying safe, does the school, the institution that your child attend, do they have the capacity to avoid overcrowding? Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, my brother. Good morning.
Morning.
Mr. P.
Go ahead, Mr. P.
I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay.
Yes, the school may not have that capacity, but let them resume. Because the federal government that is putting this, that is saying this, means they are gathering multitude, not crowd. The gates of registration are sealed up. This is a federal government agency. They are telling people to go and gather and register, gather. You know, the school should open. Those that are making the laws are the ones that are flaunting it. For goodness sake. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. So he's more interested in the federal government. I say, no. It doesn't matter whether or not there's capacity. But what I'm concerned about is that these same guys that tell us to avoid crowds are the ones that create reasons for the gathering. Hello?
Hello.
Good morning. Madam, call back if you can. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Good luck.
Good luck. I apologize. I'll have to ask you to call back. There's something not right with that. Now, shortly, I'll be talking about something that happened at Ignatius Ajuru, which I'm very impressed by. There's a story here of a 100-level student. But anyways, back to the focus. Now, our federal government has banned overcrowding in assemblies and visiting days as schools reopen on Monday. The Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, in a statement, put limitations to class sizes and hostel occupancy. The statement asked schools to ensure compulsory wearing of face masks by all students, teachers, and workers, as well as ensure temperature checks and put hand-washing facilities in strategic locations in all schools. And so I'm asking, your child's school, they leave in the morning, go to school, come back, while we're still keeping safe. Do they have the capacity to adhere to these directives? Good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
What's your name?
Sam, I'm very sure that you asking the question, you already know the answer.
No, I don't. I don't
But
know the answer. I don't know the answer for your child's school.
Nigeria is one country, and we have a lot of similarities in terms of structure, attitude, and policies.
Okay.
That's why it's called Nigeria. That's why we're one nation. We have that common denominator of not preparing, fire brigade approach. So you and I know that the federal government is not prepared, the state governments are not prepared, the local governments are not prepared. You're talking about thermometers. Basic, we don't have basic water. Wash. Not to talk about thermometer. Today is Thursday, if I'm right, or Friday. And you're talking about on Monday. How would they work out that logistics? To share the thermometers among the schools. Would they start digging boreholes today and the borehole will be ready on Monday for schools that don't have water? I mean, just total joke.
Yeah, but JD, through the crisis, there were schools that got prepared. I visited a couple of, one private school recently. And I saw that what they have, they can adhere to this directive.
Yeah, I'm talking about the amount of schools or the number of schools that we can say is statistically significant. Looking at the whole population of schools, numbers of schools we have in the country.
Okay.
So we're talking about maybe 2% out of 100. That's totally insignificant. So, in a nutshell, the schools are not prepared. But I thank God for one thing, that the virulence or severity of coronavirus is not as serious as it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Good morning. Now, we are live on YouTube. Yes, we are. So if you'd like to watch as you listen, go to our YouTube page. I'll be giving out that shortly. That's Nigeria Info PH. That's another platform through which you can see faces as you hear voices. Good morning.
Good morning, Chinedu.
Morning.
I'm Walose Christian from Omoma.
All right.
Then I am in full support that schools in Nigeria should reopen.
Okay.
What of the markets? Do they have all the facilities needed? But the markets are functioning. Let the schools resume. We shall manage the COVID-19.
Explain what you mean by manage, please.
Manage means if the markets in the country are functioning, they are still managing and functioning too. That is, they will obey the protocols. You see? So that thing is also applicable to schools in the nation.
All right. Do you have your kids? Do you have your children in any school at this time?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
No, you say?
Are your children in any school, or are they done with school?
Yes.
Okay. So can that school adhere to this directive? Can they handle overcrowding?
You see, there's no way we can handle overcrowding. There's no way. Even in the market, we cannot even handle it properly. You see? So the same thing is applicable in the school. As human beings, we will try our possible best to get the instructions. So that's my own thing.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, Uncle Tan, good morning.
Morning.
Yes, it's for me. My contribution is the school to reopen on 18th is a record development. But I want to order the students to adhere to the directive given by NCDC by wearing their face mask, hand washing with sanitizer. I think find it difficult to contact the coronavirus. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Morning.
My name is Kennedy. I'm calling in from Starbucks.
Talk to me.
Now, look, let us get something a little. It's quite confusing. So let us just look at it together and see the feasibility, if at all, in it. Schools reopening has a very, very decent instruction coming from the head of the federal government. But if you ask me, I would have loved to say, for now, the higher institutions with more matured students who will hear instructions and then will want to respect such instruction. I would say the higher institutions for now get reopened. But the primary schools, where you have pupils who have you ever been to primary school and see them during their break period?
Yeah.
And see what it is like?
I have.
So how would you want to tell such minds that to them immediately that bell rings and it's break time, the only thing that registers on their head is play? And playing means jumping, helter-skelter, falling on top of each other. So how do you suppose they are going to be able to adhere to such instructions? That's number one. Then number two, for Christ's sake, where are the facilities in those schools? Take, for example, the washing of hands. Take, for example, the sanitizing of hands. Now, take, for example, the wearing of nose masks. Where are they? Have you visited some of these schools in these far-flung rural communities? You see that just about nothing works. In most cases, even benches where they sit down, they are not even available. Now, how will they come by this water that they are going to wash their hands with? The sanitizers, the thermometers. How will they get to those far-flung schools in those communities?
All right.
If you ask me, I'll tell you the decision of the federal government to open the school should have been sectional.
So let's get something clear. I get where you're coming from, and I obviously know where you're going to. So if we cannot handle this now, because again, the picture you painted with the kids playing, it's very clear. When would we ever open schools? What do we do? How long do we keep them at home for?
No, the question is this. I am not saying it cannot. I'm saying it can, but at such level, the preparation is zero.
Okay.
Take, for example, the higher institutions with more mature mind that can take to instruction much more easier can do that now. And then the government and the institutions responsible actually put their boots on the ground and making sure those things that are necessarily needed.
But the government has had the entirety of last year. COVID came early last year.
I heard you a moment ago saying that you visited just one school.
Yes,
one school
just one.
Hundreds of them?
A private school, actually, just one.
Okay. That is even a private school. And believe you me, my friend, go into most of these private schools, you will see that most of them are not even ready. Nothing is in place. So if you visited just one in probably 100, and that is just one, believe you me, they are just not ready.
Now, my fear and concern is we might never be ready. Going by the pace.
If we are serious, if our government and our government agencies are serious in making sure these things are in place, believe you me, my brother, it can be done. But for Christ's sake, they pay lip services to most of these things. And oftentimes, they're just radio and television announcements. But by the time you get on ground, you see something entirely different that will numb you.
Okay.
And we're talking about lives here.
Truly, we are. Thank you very much.
We're talking about lives here. So if you ask me, I'll say for now, it should be sectional. And when they say it, they should really get on ground. It can be done.
Okay.
But the way they're going about it, no. It will be just putting the lives of our innocent young children in primary schools and even secondary schools at risk, regrettable risk. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. So that's a Nigerian, a concerned one, stating what he sees as a bigger challenge. Now, we know that we have more children in public schools than private. Naturally, that's how it is in almost every country around the world. I'm not even going to talk about, the structure of the public school system. We've discussed that countless times. And, well, being Nigerian, you should know as well. But then, if we keep waiting, if we keep hoping, we might never. There's no perfect time to start. Because the government, at many levels, have not exactly shown capacity. Let me use that word. Ability to give or take. COVID started early 2020. came into Nigeria March, I think, February, March. But a major part of last year had us thinking about one thing and one thing alone, COVID-19. And so the hand washing, the social distancing, the face masking, if I should put it like that, all the things that were supposed to make our schools ready are supposed to have happened by now. They still haven't for a lot of schools. The school I visited, I went there for something, to see someone. And I was impressed because as I walked through, they already had their, washing hand basins, and the classes were okay. Of course, there was no one in the school, just the person I went to meet. But with the structure of the classes, if they have just a few students per class, they can maintain that distance. But again, as I said, it's a private school. And it's shameful that when we talk about progress, you see it happen more in the private sector than the public. But I would like to know, your child is in some school somewhere. They leave home in the morning, they go get an education, and then they return. The federal government has said that schools should ban overcrowding and assemblies and visiting days. Remember the last time you went to that school? What did you see? Can that school handle this directive? Call me and tell me. Good morning.
Good morning, the very distinguished.
Morning. How you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Wonderful as always. Go ahead.
Yes, I remain Temple.
Okay.
Distinguished Oracle. To be sincere with you and to tell you the truth with immediate alacrity. At this point in time we are, when we are supposed to be ready, and yet we are not ready. And looking at my findings so far, which I have come to a logical conclusion that we can never even be ready with the level of politics we are playing with it.
No, Temple.
In my own personal point of view. Understand?
Okay.
When we look at the schools, forget about the market. If the adults, the majority of the persons inside the market are adults, if they cannot control themselves, what happens to the children? Most of them that are in the market, doing the buying and selling, they are all adults. You can hardly see a child of 2 years, 3 years in the market. What are they going there to do? Except in the Christmas period where their parents will take them to buy them clothing and shoes and all the rest of them. Then you come down to the schools. You go to a school. We talk of running water. Sometimes when they talk of this put running water, I don't even get it. Because you don't tell me you put a tap. Another child will come and touch the head of that tap and wash his hands. Another one will come and touch the head of that tap before washing. I don't see any possibility of if you truly maybe there is a person with that the infection, the possibility of others not getting it through that tap, the tap they are touching. That is by the way. And when we talk about the social distancing, first of all, what the public and the private schools, what have they put in place in making sure that at least to conclude that habit of social distancing, let's talk about the class. Forget about maybe during the break period and going to buy something, then kissing and all the rest of that. In fact, even no chairs for this. And we talk about maybe even we talk of sectional, you have 20 or 150 parents. But in fact, there is no amount of social distancing which is enough. It's important for such social distance to be achieved. As far as I'm concerned. Then you talk about the wearing the nose mask. I have visited some government-owned schools. I'm not even talking about the government-owned schools. We talk of the UMHM, we talk of the NHA, we talk of the MINI, we talk of the many of them here. You see, none of them is wearing the nose mask. Even the teachers themselves, are they wearing it? For you to tell somebody to do this thing, at least as you're carrying the person is seeing that example on your face.
Okay.
Are they wearing it?
Oh, Temple, thank you very much. I must move on now.
As far as I'm concerned, we are just living by the grace of what life gives to us every day.
All right, thank you very much, Temple. Good morning. Call back if you can. 92.3. Good morning.
Hello.
Morning.
I have a simple. I'm a scientist by God's grace, a science teacher by God's grace.
Wonderful.
And there is one thing we do in science. We call it experiment.
Wonderful.
Yes. we're talking about COVID. Let's ask ourselves, how many of Nigerian students have COVID killed since COVID started? To be sincere with you, none of my students have died ever since COVID started. A population of over 2,000 students from JS1 to SS3.
Okay.
We're talking of COVID. I still believe that the immune system of the black man, especially the young children, the young adults, COVID cannot stand it. Let's call it spade a spade. COVID is a problem of the white man, please.
Okay, hold on. I want to listen to you, and I want you and I to have a conversation. So COVID is not a black man's problem, going by your scientific, because you said you're a scientist.
Yes.
So the figures that the NCDC are reeling out every day about confirmed cases, recoveries, and deaths, are they making those up?
Well, that is why I'm scared to believe. I believe COVID exists for crying out loud. But
okay.
I have never seen any relative, any friend's relative that have lost his life in the name of COVID for crying out loud.
Okay, so because you do not know anybody personally, do you think that's enough to think that maybe it's not here?
COVID is here, let me tell you. The environment in Nigeria is too hot for COVID. It is for them that are living in the environment. You know, there are those who are living the white man life here in Africa.
Oh, really? And hold on, what qualifies as white man life? I'd like you to explain that.
I mean the atmosphere of the white man, which is cool, very chilled. There are those who are living from air-conditioned office to air-conditioned car, from air-conditioned car to air-conditioned classroom or workplace. But everywhere environment.
Okay, so for those people
to suffer and under the sun.
Okay.
Call it speed. All of them in the marketplace.
All right. So what you're saying is, for people who spend more time in air-conditioned spaces, they have a higher risk of contracting COVID.
That is it, because for me, who is thriving under the sun, my body is too hot for this COVID, for crying out loud.
What's your name, sir?
I'm Emeka calling.
Emeka, right now, I'm speaking to you from a studio that has air conditioners here, and it works almost every day.
Yes.
So are you saying I am at higher risk?
But I know that to some time you will come outside and you will feel in Nigeria. I'm talking of those who live, as they leave the studio, there are those who leave their office.
I have an air conditioner in my car. Whenever I drive anywhere, it's always on. So let's get practical.
Even when you go to the marketplace, you don't go to market.
Hello?
I know, but 24/7 you don't experience the air conditions all through, unlike the atmosphere of the white man.
So, are you saying that we should stop using our air conditioners if we have any, or not even get, so that we stay safe from COVID?
Well, I'm talking of those who are living this life in the sky while they are here on Earth. It's not just really air condition.
Okay. So try to be around heat. Try to be around heat more so that you can stay safe.
Of course, I know. That is it now. You are struggling. You can't tell me you are living a kind of a luxurious life where everything is just made available for you. You are not struggling, no?
I would not say luxurious, but I try to get comfortable, and I don't think that's too much to ask. Maybe not luxurious, but just enough to get by. And I'm sure there are lots of people who live that way.
Chinedu, I have this faith within me. As long as my God lives, COVID is not for me, and I have not seen it. I don't believe in it, and it will not reach me, for crying out loud.
Emeka, I understand that you believe in God, and I do as well. But there's something about when someone says, I'm a scientist. I want to believe that they've done research, they've done a study, and they can speak scientifically. What you have said does not reflect what you claim to be.
Because I have not personally encountered it.
So your personal experience.
I will do it. I said, I'm telling you, students of over 2,000. I have not just one. I said just one.
Okay.
Not one have died.
All right. Thank you very much, Emeka. The idea behind that, obviously, is to get how Emeka thinks, and out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. Emeka's personal experience has informed, what he believes. And life is governed by your belief system. It may not always be true, but again, it is belief system. So here's the thing. There is COVID in the world and there's COVID in Nigeria. Take it or leave it. There is no such thing as being too safe. Now, I know that there are lots of people who doubt this thing. I mean, come on. We have these callers every day. But please, understand that safety is the only option on the table. The fatality here is not as high as other countries. That's a fact. But if the NCDC says over 1,300 people have died from this COVID, whether or not you believe it, that should be a call for you to pay attention to safety. I need to take a break. Coming up next, I'm asking, your school, your children's school, do they have the capacity to adhere to federal government's directive? I'm going to
We crossfire in the morning. Crossfire in the morning. Crossfire in the morning. Get into the midday dialogue and tell you about the hard facts. Hard facts, and then let's talk into the chat station. Chat station. All for you on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
The night is almost done, but conversations are never done on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Join Jude from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Let's Talk weekdays.
Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers.
Fire 92.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Sam Oracle Chinedu. And for this hour, we're looking at the federal government banning overcrowding in assemblies, visiting days as schools reopen on Monday. The Minister of Education, Adamu Adamu, in a statement also put limitations to class sizes and hostel occupancy. The statement asked schools to ensure compulsory wearing of face masks by all students, teachers, and workers, as well as ensure temperature checks and put hand-washing facilities in strategic locations in all schools. Now, my question is not about whether or not the federal government has provided. That's an important question. But it is about whether or not the school your child attends, the school that you go to, if you're still in the school system, has the capacity to adhere to this directive. I've had quite an interesting conversation with a few callers, and it truly is wonderful to know what we believe, how the mind works. But it's more important to enlighten us as to what the realities are. And of course, the answer is always safety. Now, if you'd like to watch as you listen, we are currently live on Twitter and YouTube. Twitter is at Nigeria Info PH, so you can watch as you listen. It's a radio station that also poses as a TV station. So that means I must always have my game face on. Now, YouTube is Nigeria Info PH. It's happening there. I just happen to be looking at my wonderful face. Good morning.
Chinedu, good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Adam Chinedu.
Talk to me.
Chinedu, I believe there's COVID-19.
All right.
But whether I believe that COVID-19 exists in Nigeria, I don't know.
Why is that?
The government of Nigeria, from federal to state, have never given me any impression that there's COVID-19. They are up there. We pay them. Eventually everything they use is free. Courtesy of us.
Okay.
It's their duty, by their action, by everything they do, to show me, to prove to me that there is COVID-19 in Nigerian hospitals.
Okay.
Even as they claim that they have seen, just like NCDC always say. I've never seen NCDC say anything about the ongoing NIN stuff. Throughout December, I was in my village. There was nothing like any COVID-19, maybe face mask, or any barriers are going as normal. The churches are filled as normal. So, and if there's anything like government awareness or anything, it's not anywhere.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you think that the government should be responsible for your personal safety?
Government should be, yes. It's the duty of government to be my. I would take my own, do my own duties as a person.
Now,
but generally, I pay government to make sure that there is security. The safety of my life is guaranteed.
I totally agree. But do you know that even in the most secure places, even if the security of River State was top-notch, you will still lock your gate? Do you agree?
Yeah, I would do.
Why would you still lock your gate, even though you know that the security is good enough?
Because I'm being selfish first to myself. I'm being precautious.
It's a question of responsibility. So, no, hold on. I'm trying to react to you saying the government needs to prove to you. You believe there's a failure in government. Agreed. But does that take away your personal responsibility? Because the government is not doing what it should.
Because a lot of us, like me, okay, let me tell you why. Because I do not believe that COVID-19 exists in Nigeria. I do, because I have friends overseas that they have contacted it. I know when I watch CNN, when I watch Sky News, I see it. I feel it. The way they do things, everything government do, shameless to the fact that there is COVID-19. Look at the whole Premier League. You know how much money they make? They make in ticketing. But all that stuff, they throw it off because of COVID-19. What do we have? Government is still gathering people. If there's campaign tomorrow, we see a lot of people there in Nigeria. So government has never done one thing to show me. And I believe them because there's no COVID-19 in Nigeria.
Okay. Well, please disregard the last sentence of the caller. He does not believe there is COVID-19. That's his personal belief. But there is COVID-19. I'm going to say this as many times as I need to, and it's crazy that we have to keep doing this over and over and over again. I have the frustration of a parent who's been trying to teach his child ABCs for 20 years. There's a point where, you get tired of saying the same thing. But again, we should never get tired. There is COVID-19 in Nigeria. It is not as fatal as it is in other countries. However, it does not take away the need for personal responsibility. The reason why it's called personal responsibility is because the government has its role to play and you also have your role to play. Now, if the government is not doing what it should, which is usually the case in Nigeria, it does not mean that that's the reason why you should refuse to stay safe. And I need to say this as many times as you cannot be too careful. What is happening is like people saying kidnappers do not exist because no member of my family has been kidnapped. And you hear people come and say, oh, they took my this, they took my that, and we pay the ransom. But because you've not experienced it, because no friend of yours, no family member, it hasn't happened to you, you've not had the misfortune, then you conclude and say, well, there are no kidnappers in River State. All those people are making it up. Please stay safe. I'm glad that we've put out the links to view live. Go on Twitter right now and YouTube where you can watch live. I literally have a face mask on. Every other minute you hear this very funny sound close to the mic. I keep adjusting the mask. I'm alone in the studio. There's literally no one with me. Maybe I can afford to take off the mask, but I'm doing it. So that should tell you something. Personal responsibility is personal. Moving on. Good morning. All right, let's go over to WhatsApp. Private companies don't always have the capacity, but they always find a way to meet up. It's the government who has the capacity that never does the right thing and never leads by example. Mike from Ada George. Yes, some people do not have the capacity, but there's a level of preparation. So if I can't do 100%, my preparation should at least cover a particular percentage. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning, brother.
Talk to me.
My name is Ibiso. I'm calling from Odili Road.
Go ahead, Ibiso.
Hello.
Go ahead. I can hear you.
Okay, my name is Ibiso. I'm calling from Odili Road.
Yes, I heard you. Go ahead.
My brother, I join you to ignore the Doubting Thomas in Nigeria. Like the last caller. People like that can lead people to the grave. Let me put it like that. I have to be frank this morning. Things are happening. COVID-19, people are dying. You are saying it's not real. And people, I don't know what I don't want to use a foul language in radio this morning.
No, please don't.
Because that person I just called, he said Doubting Thomas. People like that can lead people to the grave. All over the world, some men of God, different people are contacting this thing, and different is happening. One DJ in Nigeria here, I've forgotten his name, different people are contacting him in different places. And someone come out to the radio and be saying, taking up protect himself, not men of protect children.
Well, thank you very much, Ibiso, for calling.
My loved ones.
All right. So we go to places to acquire knowledge. Church on Sunday, listen to radio and all of that. Nobody knows it all. It's our duty to try to play a part to ensure that we, learn. So people are learning. Anyways, I have 1 minute left to the top of the hour, and I said I was going to do this before 9 o'clock. So this story made our news today. 100-level undergrad of Ignatius Ajuri University of Education in River State, Amy, I think that should be Ami Ugochukwu, has been awarded a 4-year comprehensive scholarship, 200,000 naira allowance, and an award of excellence for his honesty and good conduct. The student distinguished himself after returning a lost phone he found, which belonged to a staff of the institution, without demanding any reward. The owner of the phone, who is a lecturer and director, Ideas, Creativity and Innovation, Patience Spencer, I like her name, it has a cool vibe to it, introduced him to the Vice Chancellor, Ozo Mekuri Ndimele, who rewarded the 19-year-old, saying the move was aimed at encouraging honesty among students. Now, I want to say, go looking out to Ignatius Ajuri University for doing this. This is truly beautiful, and I hope it does encourage what you hope it encourages. Now, we know that there's not a lot of appreciation for education. Excellence in the education sector and people who still hold certain virtues are not exactly rewarded. The common example of how much the Big Brother winner gets and how much somebody who won a math quiz won is a clear indication. So I like that now people are getting to a point where, we actually have a reward system that kind of rewards what is right. I heard, I'm not certain yet, that this student does not even have a phone. But he picked this phone up, returned it to the owner, and this came. And he said he needed no reward. He didn't take a fee when he returned the phone. I'm sure he did not do it for 200K. He didn't even know it was going to come. But he did. So to Ami Ugochukwu, thank you for being who you are. I'm hoping, that your training has something to do with it. And I hope that other people that hear this and people that are just like you do not stop being wonderful. And thank you to Ignatius Ajuru for what they did. 200,000 for that student and a scholarship. It's 9 o'clock. Coming up next, we're going to try to save the state secretariat. Don't go anywhere.